Today, Democrats are taking a victory lap after a win in last night's Georgia Senate runoff. And KXAN Washington correspondent Raquel Martin digs into what this means for the country moving forward.
I'm a little exuberant today. I hope you understand that.
Democrats are taking a victory lap after Georgia Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock defeated his Republican challenger, handing Democrats an additional seat in the Senate next year.
We want to get things done.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says the new 51-49 split will give Democrats more power to advance bills, confirm judges, and subpoena witnesses.
We'll have greater oversight ability.
Schumer says this latest midterm defeat should be a wake-up call for the GOP, and many in the party agree.
We better learn from what's happened.
Wednesday, Indiana Senator Mike Braun said Republicans need to change their message and start delivering for the American people.
We are basically for nothing, and we complain about it, and we're going to keep seeing the same results if we don't do something different.
Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley says it's time to throw the old playbook away.
Republicans haven't won a popular majority of the presidential vote since 2004. They've only won it once since 1988. I mean, there's some issues here.
Schumer says the answer is for Republicans to abandon MAGA politics and start working across the aisle.
Turn left, Republicans.
But Schumer said he would not speculate about which issues should be prioritized when a new Congress starts and Republicans control the House. In Washington, Raquel Martin.
And now we want to take a look into some of the key takeaways from the Georgia Senate runoff race. Julie Manchester from our partners at The Hill joins us right now. Julia, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Jennifer.
So we already talked about how this gives Democrats more oversight and more power to advance bills. What does this mean for former President Donald Trump as he wages a third campaign for the White House?
Well, it means it's another headache for his campaign. Look, ever since President Trump announced his third campaign for the White House earlier this month, we have seen that it's been really a string of bad news for the former president. Even before he launched his campaign, we saw that a number of his endorsed candidates up and down the ballot across the country lost their election bids. And obviously, that was a bit of a reflection on him and his political brand. Now you have this loss in Georgia. You, of course, have him facing a lot of backlash for saying he wants parts of the Constitution to be terminated. He's dealing with a host of legal problems, and of course he's facing a lot of backlash for meeting with white supremacist Nick Fuentes. So clearly right now this campaign does not seem to be off to the smoothest of starts, and I think it shows how weak President Trump's political brand is right now. I mean, I've covered politics since 2016, and I will say, Jennifer, I don't think I've seen more Republicans unhappy with President Trump and more that are willing to say publicly it's time to move on from him.
And all eyes now shift really to 2024. How will this race factor into the conversations and also the strategies leading up to the presidential election, specifically because this was such a close race? This was not a blowout. I mean, we saw the numbers yesterday.
It was not a blowout. And I think one thing that Democrats really need to keep in mind is that they need to continue doing what they were doing, focusing on turnout in terms of early voting. They need to focus on, that message of abortion access, for example, of protecting democracy. That really seemed to work for them in these past midterm elections. And I think they also need to confront the issue of the economy. We will probably see Republicans continue to bring up inflation, continuing to bring up the threat of a possible recession under the Biden administration. So Democrats should really get out in front of that messaging. For Republicans, I would say that there is definitely going to be an internal party debate over the role of President Trump. I think a lot of Republicans, including President Trump's former allies, including Mike Pence and Ron DeSantis, would say it's time to move on. We need to distance ourselves from the former president. But you're also hearing a lot of chatter among Republicans today about, whether they should really start investing in the strategy of early voting. Look, there has been skepticism around early voting, particularly in Georgia, because of former former President Trump and his false theories and conspiracy theories that he spread about the 2020 election and such over early and mail-in voting. So I think you're going to see Republicans really trying to recalibrate, because right now, whatever they're doing, especially in an environment that was supposed to be very positive for them at this midterm election, it isn't working.
Okay, Julia Manchester with The Hill, thank you so much for taking time to join us today.
Thank you.